Hi there. Let's create this awesome looking rock, paper and scissors game in React.js. As you can see here, these icons have a cool effect on hover and the header section shows the score. While in the footer, these are the rules which is built in the Modal. Whenever I choose any of these choices, then it will wait for this 3 seconds and then randomly choose the house choice, then display the winner. And also score is updated in the header section. You can see the awesome box shadow around the winner. Now watch this video till the end. You will learn a lot like creating a countdown, modal and advanced conditional rendering and much more. Now as you can see here, this design is not my own. We are going to solve this challenge in the React.js provided by the Frontend mentor. Let's start this challenge. Download the starter code from here. For this app, we are not going to use Createapp because sometimes it takes a lot of time. Instead of that, let's create React app using a parcel from this createapp.dev. Select parcel and select whichever libraries you need. We need React, and for styling, select Sass. For the linting, you can select either Prettier or ESLint, whichever you are using. Write your project name and click the download project button. Let's create new React app folder and extract both of these zip files. Now in this starter code, you will find images and design folder. This design folder contains the design images of what we have to build. As you can see here, we have to replicate designs from these images. Copy images and style guide files in the src folder of our app. Now open terminal or cmd in the folder and do npm install so that it will install all the libraries listed in the package.json file like React, React DOM, etc. In the meantime, let's see what is parcel. As mentioned here, parcel is a zero configuration web application builder. Here you can see the benchmarks of different builders where the parcel have more advantages. You can use this createapp.dev website to create your project folder structure using either a webpack, parcel or snowpack. I will put a link of this web in the description. Now we need two more libraries. One is a React Router DOM and another is node-sass. Let's install it. You can open a project folder in VS Code by just typing code dot. Let's start our app with npm start. Now in this style guide file, they have already provided some background and text colors, as well as gradient and fonts that we can use to build this design. Our app is running on localhost 1234. Let's create two folders. One is for components and another is for SCSS files. Under the SCSS folder, create one file called _variables.scss and import this file in the main style.scss. Let's create all the variables from style guide so we can use these variables anywhere in our project. For the background, create radial gradient with a circle and two colors. For the font, just copy this URL . Let's select fonts with a weight 600 and 700. Copy this at import URL . Create a new file called _globals.scss, which will contain the global styling of our app. Paste URL here. Copy font family and paste it in the body. Don't forget to import globals in the style.scss. Let's add some more styling. Now based on this design image, we need a header component, play component, and next is a footer component. One modal component and also one more component which display the result. So let's create all the component files in the component folder. Create a header.js first. Here I'm using a simple React snippets. So just write RAFCE and it will create a component for us. Let's create all the components same as header. Now in the index.js file, remove this name props, we don't need it. Actually, I want this app.js as a functional component so that we can use React hooks. Create one div with the class container and add a header component. First, let's import all the components. Let's wrap this app component with a browser router in the index.js file so that we can use the React router functionalities in our app. Import switch and route from the React router DOM. Now in the switch, we will create two routes, one with the path slash which renders play component and one with the path slash game which renders the game component. Add footer component after end of div. It's working. Let's create two states using a use state. One is to store our own choice, which can be rock, paper or scissor, and another state is to store the score, which is initially 0. Pass these states and set state methods to different components. Header component will need score. Pass set my choice to a play component from where we will set our choice. In the game component, pass my choice, score and set score. Now let's modify a play component. Add class name play. Deconstruct props, which is set my choice. Here we need 3 choices, and when we click on it, then we have to take this choice and navigate to the next game component. So we will use link and set its path to /game. This link will contain one div with the class name icon and icon _paper. We will use this data-id attribute to grab its value. Let's create onClick method. This onClick method setChoice will take E as a parameter and takes the value from a data-id attribute and sets the choice state in the setMyChoice method. Replicate these lines for the scissors and a rock. And it's working. Let me just make this fonts bigger for now. And we can see it more clearly. Let's create a game component. First, deconstruct all props that we have passed from the app component. Add class name game. display our choice using a my choice state. In this component, we will need two states, one to set choice for house and another player win to decide whether the player wins, loses or draw. Let's create a new method. Set house using a math.random, so it will select randomly from the choices array which contains rock, paper and scissors. Let's call this method inside the use effect, so whenever component loads, it will choose house state. Display the house state here. Let's check our app. The game component is working fine, but there is an issue in the play component. Oops, I forgot to put curly braces here. And now it's working. For the result, let's create one function result which will decide win, lose or draw. If my choice is equals rock and house choose the scissors, then the player will win, so set player win state to win and set score to score plus 1. Let's create all the condition and set player win and score state accordingly. Now in this last else part, if both player and house will have the same choice, then it will draw the game. So set player win state to draw. Let's render results. If player win is equals to a win, then render you win. If player win is equal to lose, then render you lose. If player win is equal to draw, then render the draw. We will call this result function in the use effect when we get the new house choice. So write house at the input. Let's check it. And it's working great. Also displaying the right results. Let's display score in the header part. Deconstruct the score from the props. Add header as a class name. And display the score inside the h1 tag. And it's working. Let's add play again button in the game component. Set path to slash and also on click clear the house state. It's working great. Now almost whole logic part is completed and our rock paper scissors game is working as expected. Let's start styling our app. Remove the styling and add some basic styling for container. Create header.scss file to keep the header styling in it. While in the header component, remove this code and as shown in the design, we have to display rock, paper and scissors in the different lines, and for that create them in separate on tags. Create one div with the class score-box for score and one div with the class score-box __ score to display the score. Let me adjust VS Code and browser side by side so that we can see and update styling accordingly. Don't forget to import header file in main style files. Let's start with the class header and add some styling. Now in here, I like to use RAM then pixel, so let's convert it. Now to convert pixel to RAM, divide it by 16 because 1 RAM is equals 16 pixel. Our header section is done. Now let's start designing the play component. As in the design image, all 3 rock, paper and scissor icons are displayed above the triangle. So let's add triangle image here and add class name as triangle. Wrap one div with the class items around these 3 links. Now create play.scss file and import it in the style.scss. We need images of a rock, paper and scissors. So let's create 3 variables for it. Now image P for paper, its value will be the SRC address. Do the same for rock and scissors. Using this approach, we can directly use these images wherever we want. Now let's start styling particular icons. First is the paper. I think there is some issue with the image source. Just add /src before /images. Now for the scissors and rock, we are going to use these same properties. So instead of copy and paste these styles, let's create a mixin so we can use it anywhere. Create one mixin file and import it in the style. Now copy everything inside the -- paper except the transform property. Create a mixin with the keyword @mixin and name it icon. Paste all styles here. For these styles, we will need two things. First is image and second is color. So pass these arguments accordingly. Now let's create same for the scissor and rock. We don't need this text, so let's remove it. Let's add hover property, which scales icons a little bit when we hover on it. add a transition property for smooth movements. As you can see in the design image, this icon contains two shadows. One is in the upper inner circle, while the second is at the lower outer circle. So let's add it in the mixer. Our play component is completed, and let's style the game component. As you can see in the design, there are two icons at the start. Then after the countdown, there will be a result, which will display the message of win or lose and play again button. Let's just remove this whole code. We are going to render three parts. First is the uPick part. For that, add a div with the class game underscore u. Then span tag for the text. Add a div for the icon with the class name icon space icon dash dash paper. Now instead of this paper, we should add my choice state, so it renders based on our choice like a rock, paper or scissors. Now the next part is the result. Let's write its classes. Now instead of h2, let's render this whole div. The house pick part will be the same as the u part, just change its class and text to house. Let's start styling our main component. Just copy the styles of u part for the house. I think I have made mistake in class name. That's why it is not working. Just change this result to game. Now as you can see in the design on a play again button, hover, its text changes its color to red. We need to add the school box shadow around the winner. We need to add 3 more shadows at the end of default shadow. Let's just create a mixin for this shadow so that we can use it anywhere. Now we have to add winner class to icon, which is winner. So when player win is win, then we will add winner class. For the house part, we will add winner class if the player win state equals to lose. Now we need to add a countdown which counts for 3 seconds before declaring the winner. So let's add a counter state and initialize it with 3. In this use effect, where we are calling the result function, let's add const timer equals if counter is greater than 0, then set interval of 1 second and decrement the counter by 1. Else run the result function. Render this counter inside the house part. Put condition that if counter is 0, then render icon, else render the counter state. It's not working for some reason. I think I forgot to clear the interval. We also have to clear the interval, so let's return clear interval of timer. And now it's working good. Let's add styling for the counter. Add some margin in the house and U part. Let's complete our footer component. Inside the starter code, there is an index.html file. Open it in your text editor and copy the header part of HTML and paste it inside our HTML file. Copy this div with the attribution class. Now in the footer, remove this and create a new footer with the class footer. Paste the attribution here. Create one button for rules. Let's add some styling. Now we need Modal to display the rules. Create a Modal state and toggle method for Modal. Display the Modal component if Modal state is true. We're going to create a Modal using a React portals. For that, open an index.html file and add one more div before the app div and change its ID to Modal. Using a React portal, we will render Modal by capturing this Modal ID instead of the app. This is the best practice for creating a Modal in React.js. To use the React portals, we have to import React DOM. In the return, write React DOM.createPortal. Now this will take two arguments. First is the component you want to render, and the second is the place where you want to render it. Now let's create our Modal component. This modal will have two images, one to display the rules and one for close button. On this button, on click, don't forget to add toggle. Let's start styling our modal. Oops, I wrote 1000 instead of 100. There is some issue with images. There are actually these are the SVG files. So let's import them with this way. Now our whole app is completed. As you can see here, it's working great. Now furthermore, if you want to, then you can create a design for mobile devices as provided in these images. Try to expand this app by creating this advanced version of rock, paper and scissor game. Thanks for watching this video. If you really like this video, share it and subscribe for more awesome stuff. And keep coding.